The world is a complex and shifting place. Nations must adapt to new challenges. The alliance between the United States and Japan has been a cornerstone of Asian stability for decades. But the ground beneath it is moving. In February 2025, the leaders of both nations released a joint statement. This was not just another diplomatic document filled with polite words. It was something more. It was a new roadmap for their partnership. This statement signals a fundamental evolution in how these two powerful countries see the world and their role within it. It lays out a plan for a deeper, more integrated alliance, ready to face the tests of the 21st century. This new vision is built on a shared understanding. The leaders recognize that the line between security and economics has blurred. They see that technological innovation is now a key part of national power. And they agree that the strategic environment in the Indo-Pacific region requires a much more unified and robust response. The statement is, in essence, a declaration that the old model of the alliance is no longer sufficient. It marks a deliberate choice to move from a relationship defined primarily by a simple security guarantee to one that is a comprehensive partnership across nearly every aspect of national life, from defense and technology to supply chains and economic policy. What makes this moment different from past meetings and agreements? It is the sheer scope and ambition of the plan. Previous updates to the alliance often focused on specific military guidelines or trade issues. This statement, however, weaves all these threads together into a single, cohesive strategy. It suggests that a strong military is not enough without a resilient economy. It argues that a resilient economy is not possible without secure supply chains and technological leadership. And it concludes that none of this can be achieved unless both nations work in perfect lockstep, not just as allies, but as deeply integrated partners in a shared mission. The February 2025 statement is therefore a profound response to a changing world order. It is a quiet revolution in policy, though its language is measured and calm. It represents a shared bet on the future, a calculation that the best way for both Washington and Tokyo to navigate the turbulent waters of international affairs is to tie their ships more closely together than ever before. This is not a minor adjustment. It is a significant upgrade, a new chapter in the story of one of the world's most important bilateral relationships. The document serves as a guide for the years to come, and its implementation will be watched closely by friends and rivals alike. At the heart of the United States-Japan alliance has always been a simple promise. The United States, under its Mutual Defense Treaty, pledges to defend Japan if it is attacked. The February 2025 statement did not change this promise. It powerfully reaffirmed it. American leaders made it clear that this commitment is ironclad and covers all territories under Japanese administration. This is the bedrock of the entire relationship. It provides the security and stability that allows Japan to prosper. This renewed pledge sends a clear signal across the region that the military bond between the two nations remains as strong as ever, discouraging any potential aggressor from testing its limits. But the statement revealed a critical shift on the other side of the equation. Japan is no longer content to be a passive partner under the American security umbrella. The document formally acknowledges Japan's historic decision to substantially increase its own defense capabilities. This includes raising its defense spending to a new higher threshold, a move that breaks with decades of post-war tradition. Japan is now acquiring new tools, long-range strike capabilities, a more robust cyber defense, a more integrated command structure. This is a fundamental change. It transforms Japan from a nation primarily focused on self-defense into a more proactive security partner. This transformation is about building what military planners call interoperability. The February 2025 statement makes one thing exceptionally clear. Modern security is not just about soldiers and ships. It is also about microchips, supply chains, and economic strength. The new roadmap for the United States-Japan alliance formally links economic security with national security, treating them as two sides of the same coin. This represents a major pillar of the leveled-up partnership. Both nations have pledged to work together to build more resilient supply chains for critical goods. This means ensuring that essential products are not overly dependent on any single country that might use that dependency as a political weapon. Semiconductors, medical supplies, critical minerals. This focus extends directly to the cutting edge of technology. The United States and Japan are global leaders in innovation, and the statement outlines a plan to deepen their collaboration. The partnership will now prioritize joint research and development in strategic fields like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, biotechnology, clean energy. The idea is to pool their immense scientific talent and financial resources to maintain a collective technological edge. This is not just for commercial advantage, it is a strategic imperative. The world's most important future technologies should be developed and governed by democratic nations and their allies. The US-Japan alliance does not exist in a vacuum. The significant changes outlined in the February 2025 statement are a direct response to a more challenging and uncertain security environment in the Indo-Pacific. The primary driver is China's rapid military modernization and its increasingly assertive actions. Beijing's activities in the East China Sea. Beijing's activities in the South China Sea, pressure on Taiwan, and a broader ambition to reshape the regional order have created urgency in Washington and Tokyo. The new alliance framework aims to be a more credible, resilient counterbalance. Another persistent threat is North Korea. Pyongyang's development of nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles poses a direct danger to Japan and to US forces in the region. Its unpredictable provocations require constant vigilance and a unified deterrent. The joint statement reaffirms the goal of complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and commits to close coordination on sanctions enforcement, missile defense, and contingency planning. The US and Japan are not acting alone. It might be tempting for a country like Pakistan, located far from the immediate theater of East Asia, to view the US-Japan alliance as a distant affair. This would be a mistake. The decisions made in Washington and Tokyo have significant ripple effects that travel across the globe, impacting international trade investment flows, the broader security landscape. The stability of the Indo-Pacific is not just a regional concern, it is a global one. The sea lanes that pass through the South China Sea, for example, are vital arteries for world commerce. A huge portion of global trade transits through these waters, including energy supplies, manufactured goods, destined for South Asia, Europe, the Middle East. Any conflict or disruption in this region would have immediate and severe economic consequences for everyone. A crisis could choke off these critical trade routes, leading to supply chain chaos, soaring shipping costs, a potential global economic downturn. For a trading nation like Pakistan, which relies on predictable maritime commerce for its exports and imports, such instability would be disastrous. The February 2025 joint statement is a powerful declaration of intent, but its true significance will be determined by what happens next. Speeches and documents are one thing, actions and budgets are another. To gauge whether this new roadmap is being followed in earnest, there are several concrete signs to monitor. The first and most obvious is the schedule and complexity of joint military exercises. We should watch for an increase in the number of drills involving US and Japanese forces. More importantly, look for drills that practice more sophisticated scenarios, integrated missile defense, amphibious operations, complex logistical support. A second key indicator will be found in national budgets and legislative action. In Japan, watch whether the government consistently allocates the funds needed to meet higher defense spending targets year after year. This will show whether the political will exists to sustain this historic shift. Monitor the Japanese diet for any new legislation to streamline security decision-making or to enable more seamless cooperation with US forces in a crisis. On the American side, watch how Congress funds initiatives related to the Indo-Pacific and supports the forward deployment of its most advanced military assets to the region. In the long arc of history, alliances evolve. They must either adapt to the challenges of their time or fade into irrelevance. The February 2025 statement by the leaders of the United States and Japan represents a deliberate and ambitious effort to adapt. It is a recognition that the world of today is not the world of 1960, when their mutual defense treaty was signed, nor is it the world of 1990, after the Cold War's end. This new framework is a serious attempt to build an alliance for a new era, one defined by strategic competition, technological disruption, and the blurring of lines between economic and national security. It is, without a doubt, a meaningful turning point in the history of this critical partnership. The plan itself is comprehensive and logical. It reinforces the military core of the alliance while expanding it into a true partnership of equals.